Your brain is hardwired to see you fail. It doesn't want you to succeed. So we need to understand what dopamine is before we can really analyze the role it has and the role it plays in the body. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter, essentially a chemical. It can be a hormone as well, but in today's video we're just going to focus on it being a neurotransmitter. So it is basically produced in the hypothalamus, which is a region in the brain, and dopamine influences our movement, our attention, our memory. So as you can see, it's essential for life. It's essential for everyday living. And more than likely, if you're watching this video, you've probably watched other self-improvement YouTubers. And I feel like my videos, they definitely come under that category. But every YouTuber under the sun has mentioned dopamine, right? But also we have to, understand the differences between the short-term impact of dopamine or the long-lasting dopamine that we can receive. And basically our brain, it craves dopamine. So it's not going to discriminate between the short term or the long term. It's not going to choose the long term if it can receive dopamine through instant gratification. So nowadays we have like Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, fucking Twitter, it's all there. TikTok, that's a huge one, man. Huge one. That it is basically turning us into zombies. Because we're only receiving dopamine that is giving us a short hit of it. And also there's no long-term effects, no long-lasting impact. The preferred method of acquisition of dopamine in today's society is through social media and instant gratification. Whereas, like dopamine, it's not a modern thing. It's not a modern invention, We're humans and we have chemicals and a biological makeup that you can't deny. So even if you track it back to the early days, when we were primitive Homo sapiens, we were seeking out dopamine. It was just in a different form. We were seeking out dopamine in shelter. We were seeking out dopamine in fire, water, food. All these things which would have given us like moments of reprieve from all the chaos that might have surrounded us. But nowadays we don't. We don't have that. We don't have the lack of resources at our fingertips. We have everything at our fingertips. So the dopamine levels we have now are very, very high, but there's no long-term effects. And in order to receive the long-lasting effects of dopamine, that like latent dopamine release, to go through all that and to receive that, we have to go through a long, arduous process that has a lot of hardship, a lot of failure, and not a lot of fucking success for a long time. So our very primitive brain looks at that and says, why the hell would we go through all those trials and tribulations just to receive a chemical that I could get by just fucking going on Instagram for 10 minutes, playing a video game for 10 minutes. So it's like our brain every single time is going to choose the easier option. And I know this because my brain is one of the weakest brains around. And I'm pretty okay and happy to say that and admit it. It doesn't want to do anything difficult. It seeks out a lot of comfort. And I know that. So I continuously have to monitor and put myself and test myself really, do stuff that really makes me feel challenged and be able to grow. Because, it's the old saying, there's no growth in comfort. It's true. It's true. So, like, you have to look at it from a biological standpoint as well. The hippocampus, which is an area of the brain, deals with converting our perceptions and of our experiences in the world and then converting them into long-term memory. So our brain is going to think, oh, if we do something for a long time, with a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, then all we'll get is the release of a chemical. And we mightn't even feel great once we achieve that goal. We might feel great for like a week afterwards, but then it'll be on to the next thing. So for the person with a weak mind, they see that and go, why the hell would I bother? You want to really take ownership of your brain, understand it, know its strengths and weaknesses. And like, I think David Goggins summed it up perfectly. Right? He said the brain has a tactical advantage over you. It knows your strengths and it knows your weaknesses. And it's continuously going to throw challenges in your way. And it's up to you to disconnect from the brain and do the things that your brain doesn't want you to do.